We are connected through this heart. Every heart beating on this planet right now is connected to one another and to the beautiful divine universe that is who we refer to as God, and all of the other beautiful spiritual conscious essences that have come along the way. But what has taken place is that many of the most beautifully designed and organized organizations of religion has actually brought more attention to their nemesis than they actually care to admit to. And this is the point and the message today, is that you may be under the spell of Satan or the devil or whatever dark force energy you choose to call it. For you see, in our vast, beautiful world, this big, beautiful divine universe, there are many avenues that the human being has taken in order to connect to God. And when you are led through the lens of fear, you end up never being happy. You never end up feeling the real, true essence of love that Jesus Christ himself was begging and asking you of, that Jehovah was begging and asking you of, that any of the Buddhist quotes, any of the Dalai Lamas, any of the Yahweh, you name that beautiful God force source energy. And understand that if you are being led to him through fear, you are thwarting your own spiritual connection to God. It does not mean that you are not already connected. We are always connected through this heart. The heartbeat of yours, of mine, of our beautiful, godly, unseen source energy is how we are all always connected and how we know we are never alone. But fear has a way of nefariously seeping into your world. And it is most obvious with many people who hold a divinity. I need to set that down so I don't turn this off again. Technology. But we have to be careful, because fear and how it is delivered to you and how you live, love, work, and play is showing and giving credence to the very essence of the dark force energy that you so desire not to. And this is the incongruencies that many people are living under. And in some ways it is a spell. In some ways it is a curse. Because this is the story of what took place yesterday as I shared one of the most beautiful, organically divine stories that God himself has given me. You see, up until now, we have had no real other physical evidence of God's love, of God's energy, of God's God force, love, source, connection, energy. We had no physical evidence. We were given his messages through people, indeed. And this is another massive incongruency of many people walking a very few particular organized faiths of religion or organized communities of religion. And so as I shared this beautiful story that I'm going to share with you, you will hear their outcome. You will hear their immediate reply. And it is at the essence of why, when you literally hold that dark force energy in your energy system in some way, you are blocking, you are negating, and you are thwarting your very connection to God. You want that connection. You are faithful to him, and you want that connection to be the strongest it can possibly be. Because now, in this world that we live in, understand that all of this chaos that you see is because you are still giving energy to the dark force energies that exists in the duality of the world that God himself created. but you are choosing to follow the path led by other human beings who are also connected, but are allowing their own energy systems to convey messages built in fear. When you do the internal work, you actually now, at this moment, are waiting for the coming of the next Jesus, the next Jehovah, the next symbol from God that we are going to be saved. And here is the essence of God's message today, right now, right here. You are God's energy, the presence of God's source energy right here on this earth through your beautiful heart chamber of love. You are his presence, and you know this. You speak it, you pray it, you say it out loud when you go to churches and other bricks and mortars to speak your word, to share in your word, to share in the love. But you don't extend it to yourself because you feel you are not worthy of such love. And we are here to tell you the opposite is now true. All of the beautiful ancient wisdom we needed is now time to elevate, to upgrade ourselves, to receive this beautiful coming of whatever it is your divinity is telling you that is coming your way, that is coming our way. We don't care which way. We are God. We are God's energy standing on this earth right now. But until you do the internal work, you will not feel that energy, and you will not be able to connect to him in the ways you are begging to do right now. How do we know that you are demanding and begging? Because we have been through this experience ourselves. We are no different than you. We are a human being. We are a beating heart. We shield it. We protect it. Sometimes we deny it. But you are God's beating presence on this earth right now. And you must change and remove this unconscious fear that many organized religions are putting in within. What you feed your brain is what feeds this heart. And when you are based in fear, when you are praying, when you are asking questions, when you are speaking this word that you are so faithful to, you must understand who has you at that moment when you say and or respond to a beautiful story such as this. My organic divinity is that I am indeed a messenger, a direct connection from God to whomever is in front of me to deliver the message that is necessary or needed at the time that is God's will. Yes, you know that word, God's will, but you see, you use it in the wrong way. You use it to just brush off what is happening instead of looking deep within to find answers. You say God's plan, oh, it's just in God's plan. And that has gotten us now to here, but you are not now doing the work necessary to remove the fear-based knowledge and attachments that are circling through your energy system right now. This energy system is God's energy system. He created this beautiful universe. And why can't that be so? You know nothing. We know nothing. And yet people are so caught up that they can only give credence to what is right in their face that they completely block the very point of our existence and purpose on this earth. You are God's presence. I am God's presence on this earth. And we need to elevate ourselves, upgrade our own. Because as I tell you this very message that I am connected to God, I hear the voices and the people saying, oh, she must be the devil if she thinks she's talking straight to God. I hear every breath of that. And here is the message. Get out of your own ass, because we are spreading the beauty of love for self, of love for God, the love of you, the love of me, on a universal level now. It's not about what you think love is. It is about the frequency of that energy that lights people up, that makes them smile, that makes them want more of it. But you are so weighted down with this fear, and this fear that has been delivered to you by the dark force energies themselves, and you won't even acknowledge it. The very Bible has a number of stories in it of evidently people like myself who are completely and directly connected to God to deliver upon all of these beating hearts on this earth the messages for you to understand what is taking place, what must be done internally, let alone externally, for us to not just connect to God ourselves, but to raise the collective vibe of God force energy. It is why we are here now, and it is how we have survived all of these years. And for every dark force action that is thrown, that is right in our face, we can no longer call this reality we live in an illusion. The dark force energies will not allow that. It fuels their need and purpose to pull weapons out from below the belt and try to knock as many people down as they possibly can. They know what is happening. They are witnessing your awakening. They are witnessing the awakening of many, many people. And so they are going deeper and stronger, and the warfare is now spiritual. You and many only see it as warfare between countries and between states of power. And that's the closest yet, because the two powers at war is beauty, love, and light, and dark, negative, nasty, horrid energies and behaviors. And the further the individuals climb, the worse and harder it becomes. And that is why we are seeing and witnessing so many horrid things. You are his presence. There is no doubt about that. And as I keep speaking, I keep forgetting to start the story. Let's take a breath here. Part of my own divinity is to hear stories and understand and see the beautiful organic divinity within them. And as I share these stories, you will see them more and more. And this particular story has come forward at the right time, because we must dispel all of this fear that is creating the energies that I'm about to tell you. Because there are more beautiful, lovely people on this earth than you will ever care to admit. But because you've passed judgment on them about who they are, who they pray to, if they pray or not, you are just hurting yourself and the whole collective. And that's the point that we must make. And as I share this story, you'll get the point. So one of the messages that I had delivered recently, this is one of the messages that I have the beauty of delivering, as sad as it is and was and will be for the individuals involved. When I moved to this beautiful home that I am forever showing gratitude for, to be able to have this lovely little, perfect little sized home for me is beyond words. I met a woman and her dog, Frank. He was 11 months old. He's a dachshund, one of those little hot doggy dogs, the wiener dog. And Frank was always kind to me and Fudgeball, even though Fudgeball, my dog, is a little princess and a little snot and has quite an attitude sometimes when it comes to meeting people. She's my protector, and I utilize her reactions to guide my way. And Frank and his lovely mom were very happy to meet us, welcomed me to this little neighborhood, and from there we were able to connect and get on a few walks. And so several months ago, it looks like it would have been the beginning of October based on the date of the photo I took, no, not the photo I took. I'm going to edit some of this, you all, because as I begin to tell these stories, sometimes I have to get my facts straight before I start running my mouth. And so this particular story is that I had found part of the way that this beautiful, divinely orchestrated world that God has given me, one of the ways that I am giving complete and direct evidence of everything that I do is because of all the heart rocks that I find. I find many of them on just my little beach and on another local little beach. And with every one, I know that I have been told that I am connected completely to God. And so now the physical evidence is coming in loud and clear, that we are not only connected to Him, but now we can see the evidence because the messages are coming through more directly. And so I was cleaning up, dusting one day, and I came upon a rock that caught my eye. I can't show it to you because I gave it to this beautiful woman. And when I looked at the rock, I said, oh my gosh, that looks like, and see how quickly, as soon as I turn myself away, I lose it. And so I picked up the rock, and this is what I saw. I saw this little dachshund etched completely in. Do you see it? There's no way you can't. His nose, his little ears, and all four legs with a tail. I mean, come on. If you want to deny this, then there is much work for you to do on yourself. My beautiful, beautiful friends and souls that are walking this earth with me. And so I said immediately to myself, I said, oh my gosh, Frank, please tell me that Frank is okay. Because I have met a few other dachshunds on this island, one of which was a friend that I had known for a short time, and we had separated, went our different ways, because we both knew it was okay. It didn't matter. And when I saw this beautiful guy, I said, oh my gosh, I hope Frank is okay. And so I thought for a little while whether it was given to me for me to reach out to my friend, this previous friend. And so I debated for a moment and I let it go. It came back in later that day and I let it go again. And then I knew, no, I was not supposed to reach out because of this beautiful message. And so the very next day, I see a separate neighbor and say hello. And she says, did you hear about Frank? And that's when it all came together. Frank was not this previous friend's dog. It was my beautiful friend I met that day the first few weeks we moved here. And I said, oh my gosh, what happened? Frank had died several weeks before. And it wasn't one of the best ways for a loved one to be taken from us. And I said, oh my gosh, this is why I saw this rock. And I pulled my phone out and showed her the picture that I showed you. I said, oh my gosh, I just found this yesterday. I just saw this. I've had this rock on my table for a while now. So I ran home and grabbed it and went straight down to offer my love and support and condolences to this lovely couple, the mom and dad of Frank. And so I knocked on the door and he let me in, and I said, I have something for you. I have a message. And he called for his wife, and we sat down, and I was able to hug and offer my sincerest, heartbroken wishes for what they were going through. And so she told me what happened. And as it turns out, she wasn't able to get it out of her mind. She said, I took him to the vet, and as we got out of the car, I didn't have my hand on the leash strong enough. And when he saw where he was, he jumped out of the car and took off straight into traffic. Not straight into, mind you, but he was blinded with fear, and he took off to his demise. She could do nothing for it. In fact, her vet was at the door waiting to unlock it when they showed up. And she chased after Frank, and she was not able to get him in time. We are blessed that it was short, that second that it took. And as she sobbed, I took this rock, she had put it on the table, and gave it to her and said, this is your message from Frank. Frank does not want you to think any longer that you did something wrong. You did everything right. This was Frank's mistake. Frank lost it. Frank took off. And Frank wants you to know that it's all on him and it is nothing on you. And you have to know this. You cannot go further any longer thinking that you should have done something different. Frank knows he did this to himself. And as we all just held that moment for just a couple of seconds, maybe a minute, I don't know. Her husband said, you know, when you knocked on the door, I was actually looking online for another dog. And I said immediately, I said, well, if that's what you were doing when I knocked on the door with this in my hand, then Frank is telling you to go for it. That you will never, ever replace the love you have for him, but that you must give that same love to another beautiful dachshund like him. And that was the message. And as you see, it's no joke. This connection is real, and this message is real. And it was so beautiful. And so she started to cry, and she said, I can't get it out of my mind. And I said, this is what you do. And I picked up the rock that she had set on the table. And I said, take this rock, and every time you start to think about what took place that Frank is telling you was not your fault, you grab this rock, or you visualize, grab this rock, and you use it like a eraser, and you erase that memory. You visualize yourself and that big chalkboard of the hell that took place in front of your eyes, and you erase it, because that's what Frank wants you to do. And that was it. This was, I don't know what day. It was several weeks ago, maybe a month ago. And so yesterday, with one of my most faithful, beautifully devoted, lovely women that sits in my chair, I shared this story with her. Shorter, of course. Her first immediate question when I got done was, who'd it come from? Who'd the message come from? And I'm like, God, of course. What are you talking about? Like totally taken aback that was her question. She goes, are you sure? I said, excuse me? She goes, well, you know that the Satan and the devil himself works in very funny ways. And I actually am proud of myself because I didn't lose it. Inside, my heart was stomped on because I couldn't believe that I had just shared that most beautiful story that I shared with you, and she immediately went to fear, thinking that somehow this dark force energy that I do not, will not, and never will give credence to actually was able to influence me in any way, but yet to influence me with such a beautiful message of love, of joy, of support at one of the most hardest moments in these people's lives. And you're telling me your go-to is you better make sure that it wasn't Satan? Is it any wonder why this world is still in the crapper? Because if you have that much fear based in you, that you think that this lovely message could be anything but from God himself, then you have much work to do on yourself. You are his presence. And every time you give credence to this dark force energy, no matter what you call it, you are paying attention and giving the wrong energy to the wrong people, the wrong source. And we care not how you slice and dice this very message. But if you hear these beautiful messages, just like many of those before me were given messages to write on stone tablets that were to do on the surface some horrendous things, and you take me to task when I share this. Got it. Got it. We now know where you vibe. And as long as you vibe below the line of peace, love, and joy, of heartfelt compassion for yourself, forget everybody else. This is for yourself. Then you will always be the mouthpiece and the attraction for the very dark force energies that you are so busy trying to work against. It's not rocket science. It is no mystery. Not at all. They told you it was a mystery because they want you to be under the realm of fear. There is nothing fearful about God. This God force, God source energy was designed completely to the very last cell in your body for you to connect completely to God in a way you've never thought imaginable. And the humanness of many other important people have told you otherwise, because the devil himself is still quite alive within you. And we know you are better than that. Which mouthpiece do you want to be? Which energy, which beauty of love and light do you want to pay credence to? Because when you focus on the negative comes flying to you. And when you focus on the positive, when you focus on the message of real love and light, then real love and light comes back to you triple fold. I stood in my spiritual authority yesterday when I recognized what took place in the span of maybe 35 to 40 seconds. And that was that there are particular organized religions that not only are built on fear, but are thriving on it. And the beautiful souls attached there have no idea what is taking place and how they are being used by both sides of the spiritual war going on within them. They are unconscious of what is taking place. And while they are unconscious, they are so busy taking down everybody and anything with a message of love and light that they cannot see what is taking place in front of them. In fact, many people are so busy pointing their finger and going on social media, talking and saying all of these things about all of these people when they don't realize that not only are they fueling the same negative energy by sharing the negative energy people are sharing, right? But they are falling under the same spell because their response is not from love and light either. Step up to the plate. Start tackling the dark energy responses that are full of hate and stupidity. And all we must understand is that whomever they are applying their hatred to makes them no different than the very person they are espousing their hate for. And this is the incongruencies that keeps dark force energy alive and well on this planet we call Earth. Thank you for your time. May you and this heart and every heart beating on this planet right now come together and understand that it's okay. You do the work within yourself to love yourself in a way that God is asking you to do so now. May the frequencies of peace, peace of mind, love of yourself, and joy to the world light your path this day and every day going forward. Thank you.